Why did he cheat? And a lot of times, instead of looking at where the men are coming from and asking yourself the question, how did I contribute to this? We want to just put it on the men. Did you gain a bunch of weight? Have you been nagging him 24/7? Men act like this is the most unforgivable thing, that he is the ultimate bad guy, the ultimate demon if he does this. I'm sorry, sometimes you contributed to it. And women take no accountability for that.
I want to stop and add a few.
Damn, bro. My mentality is this as a man is like, if you're in a committed relationship and you're not happy, fucking leave, bro. End it. You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to put someone in an awkward position, embarrass a relationship publicly, embarrass it privately, and do shit like that? Like cheating. There's no point, there's no benefit. If you're unhappy, leave. Like, these people have the luxury of being degenerate because the previous generation were families that created them. But now that we're growing up in a society where majority of people are degenerate and not having families and this, that, and the other, guess what happens, chat? Guess what happens? We're going to have broken families, no families, and stray children going through adoptions and through, broken homes. Is terrible. We no longer have... This next generation is not a generation that has foundational traditional values anymore. We're growing up in a generation full of degeneracy, and it's scary because the next generation is going to be really messed up.
And men and women should both be treated as legal persons in the eyes of the law. But most of the errors in modern feminism come from conflating the truth that men and women are equals with the lie that men and women are the same. Men and women are complementary. So it makes sense that some roles in society are better fitted for one sex or the other. There's nothing wrong with anti-feminism that opposes the bad elements of feminism, like contraception, fornication, abortion, and disregard for the family. Toxic anti-feminism, however, is an unhealthy victim mentality. It blames women for men's problems and it emasculates men.
Why does bro look like Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four 2015? He gets his fantastic out of here. Yeah, bro.
Process. Let's take a look at one of its most famous modern proponents, H. Pearl Davis, or Pearl as she's known online. Pearl is Catholic, but it's not clear how much she practices her faith now. However, a fair number of Catholics have bought into her brand of toxic anti-feminism, which can be just as bad for society as feminism. Let me give you 3 examples to show what I mean. First, toxic anti-feminism.
Fun fact, Pearl interviewed Mizzy? Really? Damn.
Makes excuses for men cheating on their partners. Here's some of the things Pearl has said about that.
Why did he cheat? And a lot of times, instead of looking at where the men are coming from and asking yourself the question, how did I contribute to this? We want to just put it on the men. Did you gain a bunch of weight? Have you been nagging him 24/7? Men act like this is the most unforgivable thing, that he is the ultimate bad guy, the ultimate demon if he does this. I'm sorry, sometimes you contributed to it. And women take no accountability for that.
I want to stop and add a few.
Damn, bro. My mentality is this as a man is like, if you're in a committed relationship and you're not happy, fucking leave, bro. End it. You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to put someone in an awkward position, embarrass a relationship publicly, embarrass it privately, and do shit like that? Like cheating. There's no point, there's no benefit. If you're unhappy, leave. Don't stay in there and then cheat. You know what I mean? Exactly. No cheating, bro. That's awful. It's like there's no benefit to it. If you have someone sniffing around and you're not happy in your relationship, leave. Leave that unhappy relationship. Do you and the other person a favor and move forward. Don't be out here cheating, bro. Don't be out here cheating. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You should never cheat, you know? That's the thing. It's like a lot of men and women too like the comfortability and the flexibility of having a safe option, meaning like might not necessarily be the best option, but the safe option. You know what I mean? Like there's always something to come home to. But then they want all the other shit. You know, relationships take compromise. You have to be willing to commit and and try and work things out. If you're not having sexual relations with your partner, if you're a grown up out there, if you're not in a happy committing marriage and you're not having sex and you're not having children, you're unhappy, you're unpleasant, this and the other, then you know what's gonna happen is that you're gonna build more and more resent towards each other, and the people around you are gonna then have resentment as well for each side. And it's going to cause a catastrophic volcano eruption of some sort. Some big drama is going to happen. It's either going to break the relationship or it's going to break someone around you. And that is detrimental to a kid. That's detrimental to society. It's like, why did you commit with that person? You know what I mean? Like, you should, before you get into a proper marriage or a proper full-blown committed relationship, you should have a basic understanding of how a person is. You can't anticipate everything. I understand that. But if you guys don't align in some sort of way and you're having this much disagreement to the point where you want to cheat, just leave, bro. Don't cheat, man. There's no fucking benefit to it. You're bringing another third party into it that's into drama that they may or may not know about. You're embarrassing the relationship publicly. It's just pointless. And it promotes degeneracy. It promotes this ability where there is no there's no value in marriage. That's what this does with all these people just sleeping around and cheating and being degenerate. It then removes the beautiful thing about marriage and the beautiful thing about two people being in a committed relationship. Yeah, it's not fucking easy, but nothing's easy in life. You can have your good days and bad days, sure, but the main thing is can you be yourself around your partner, and can you share the same values? And if you can't do that, and what I mean by that, well, values, what you want for your future family, your future children, things like that, and if you don't share that, then what are you doing? Is it that transactional that you're just doing it for gratification or validation? You know what I mean? It's like, my mentality is that you want to choose someone that you can see a future with, and if you're already having massive issues and you're not resolving them, and then you bring a third party in, it just shows immaturity. Cheating is a very immature sort of way to go about it. It's just ridiculous. Especially if you're in a marriage, bro. You're embarrassing your family. You know what I mean? Like, you're embarrassing the partner's family. You're embarrassing your immediate family. You're embarrassing the relationship. You're embarrassing if there's children involved. You're embarrassing your children. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're genuinely unhappy and you're not providing value for each other, it's best to just walk away. It's just best to walk away. Cheating while having kids is the ultimate disrespect. Yeah, it is. It's disgusting, bro. What, you're going to hang in a relationship, you're unhappy, and then you're going to step out, bring a third person in, embarrass everyone within that situation, and then the kids are now ruined a home. You've ruined a home, bro. When you have a child, you have to make the decision that the child comes first. You know what I mean? Like, you and the significant other have to make the decision the child comes first. So you need to do what is the benefit for the child. AKA staying together. AKA not cheating. AKA the woman also doing her part, Goes both ways. The woman's still got to, nurture and care and do the other things that what women do. And the man's got to live up to his part as well. It's a give and take. That's why it's called a relationship. But bro, it's so crazy how in my generation, cheating and dishonorable behaviors and disposable mindsets is just so common. It's really sad, because you can see the world becoming a place of full-blown degeneracy, and families becoming less and less frequent and less the majority, and becoming a minority. Like, people want to be single until they're like, they just want to, they don't want to have a family or settle down until they're in their 30s, bro. By the time you settle down in your 30s, both you and the opposite person are less fertile. That's just science. So it's harder to have a child. Then that could put the child in an interesting place. Well, not interesting, a scary place where biologically it might not develop properly. You know, and then off that as well, you're going to be like a geriatric parent. And then you can't be there for the kid because you're old, you're tired, you're grumpy, you're sad. Like, bro, that's not how you want to raise a child. You want to be there. You want to be present. You know what I mean? That's how you want to be. That's how you got to be.
Few points here. First, I agree divorce should not be the automatic response to adultery. Men and women should fight for their marriages. But if it's just your boyfriend who cheats, dump him. Second, there are cruel wives.
This is the other thing too, is the mentality of a relationship. A lot of people view a relationship as boyfriend girlfriend, like they even that sort of framing now, because of society and how degenerate it is. They now think that it's temporary. You know, people date for temporary validation and gratification rather than actually thinking long term. Like, you know, if everyone was a lot more smarter in society and they, you know, they both betted on each other like horses in regards to, you know, values and taking a risk in regards to actually wanting to fully commit for the long term, we'd have a lot more successful relationships and there'd be a lot less broken families and there'd be a lot less, you know, terrible kids being brought up in terrible areas and terrible circumstances. It's just the truth. Because a lot of people that, you know, when a man steps out of a woman's life when they have a child, the woman still chose to be with that guy, you know? It's like you need to be very guarded and very protective of who you choose long term.
But using this to insinuate a false generalization about women is as wrong as using isolated examples of racism to make false generalizations about white people. Finally, naturally gaining weight isn't cruel. It's a part of getting older. And it definitely doesn't justify adultery. Nothing does. Would Pearl say women can cheat if their husband gains weight? I doubt it. Pearl also minimizes cheating in other ways. For example, she calls cheating a small thing and says, look, it's just something that men, especially high-value men, do. So
again, it's this mentality is promoting just wrong. Like, she's talking about high-value men and, you know, alpha males and all these people that they talk about, which is just retarded. It's just narcissistic bullshit. Like, if you have to call yourself that to be like some type of really valued guy in society, that's just ridiculous. But secondly, and more importantly, it's you know, majority people are normal. Majority people are average. So you're saying these statements like, oh, cheating is just not being happy or it's a little hiccup. No, that's damaging to families. Like, these people have the luxury of being degenerate because the previous generation were families that created them. But now that we're growing up in a society where majority of people are degenerate and not having families and this, that, and the other, guess what happens, chat? Guess what happens? We're going to have broken families, no families, and stray children going through adoptions and through, you know, broken homes is terrible. We no longer have... This next generation is not a generation that has foundational traditional values anymore. We're growing up in a generation full of degeneracy, and it's scary because the next generation is going to be really messed up.